In today's video, we are going to be talking about how to create a ratio table. Ratio tables are probably one of the best ways in order to find equivalent ratios and to see how we can scale up and scale down a ratio. I've done it in a video earlier when we were talking about ratios, and I said that we would come back to it. It's now that time. And just to be clear, we are not talking about this type of a table, we are talking about a data table. Just like this one. This is an example of a data table. We're going to be comparing dinosaurs to pencils. That's what our ratio is going to be today. And the ratio that we are going to start with is 2 dinosaurs to 12 pencils. If you can remember from our last video when we discussed equivalent ratios, we know that a ratio is equivalent to the original ratio when it has the same relationship between the numbers. And in this case, we have 6 times as many pencils as dinosaurs. So what we're going to start by doing is we're going to put down our original ratio into our ratio table. Okay, so we would have 2 dinosaurs to 12 pencils. That is the first piece of data in our ratio table. One of the biggest perks about a ratio table is that it keeps things nice and organized when we are finding equivalent ratios. I'm going to take a moment to find the unit ratio in this problem because I see that it is possible. I can see that both the dinosaurs and pencils could be divided by 2. And when we divide the top and the bottom by 2, we would get the ratio of 1 to 6. Now, if we want to check to see if this is an equivalent ratio, we would ask ourselves if it has the same relationship. 2 to 12, okay, there were 6 times as many pencils as dinosaurs. 1 to 6, there's still 6 times as many pencils as there are dinosaurs. So this is an equivalent ratio. And it is also the unit ratio. In a unit ratio, one of the numbers in the ratio is equal to 1. And in this case, it's the dinosaurs. So for every dinosaur, we have 6 pencils. Now, this example is a little bit out there, but you might know one type of a unit ratio that goes into your car. If your family has ever gone shopping for a new car, you might have noticed this sticker in the window of the car. This shows both the city miles per gallon and the highway miles per gallon. And these are both examples of unit ratios. What this number means is that I could drive 18 miles per 1 gallon of gas in the city. Or, expressed as a ratio, 1 gallon of gas to 18 miles that I could drive my car in the city. We also do this with the prices of things. So this is Mr. Peterson's gas station, and you can see we would have to pay $1.72 per 1 gallon of unleaded gasoline, or $2.50 per gallon of premium gas. I got sidetracked there. Let's get back to ratio tables. All right, it's not going to be much longer. So we're back to our ratio table, and I want to answer the question of how many dinosaurs are there if you have 48 pencils? Well, we're going to go ahead and use the ratio table in order to solve this. Remember that we found our unit rate earlier. It was 1 dinosaur to 6 pencils. All right. I know that I need to get 6 pencils to be 48 pencils. So what am I going to do in order to get from 6 to 48? I can't just add 42 to both of these numbers. We cannot add and subtract numbers to get an equivalent ratio. We either have to scale it up by multiplying, or we need to scale it down by dividing. In this example, remember that we have 1 to 6. We're trying to get this 6 to become 48 because that's how many pencils that I need. Okay, I know that 8 times 6 is going to give me 48. So we are actually going to scale up, and we're going to use a factor of 8. We're going to multiply the bottom by 8, and if we multiply the bottom by 8, we have to do the same thing to this top number as well. Let's clean this up a little bit. There we go. And when we do this correctly, okay, we're going to get 1 times 8 is 8. 8 times 6 is 48. Now, if we can remember, our question was how many dinosaurs are there if you have 48 pencils? In this case, or in our ratio table now, we have our answer. It's sitting right here. We would have 8 dinosaurs to 48 pencils. So if I had 48 pencils, there would be 8 dinosaurs. The only thing we have left to answer is we got to make sure that this was an equivalent ratio to our beginning one. Okay, remember that we had a scale factor of 6 between the two, right? So 2 to 12, we're multiplying by 6. Well, 8 times 6 is 48. So that maintains the same relationship. So therefore, I know that this is an equivalent ratio, and this is the answer to our question. All right, if I was posed that question, I would want to make sure that I write it in a sentence. And here is that sentence. If there are 48 pencils, there would be 8 dinosaurs. We have one box left in our ratio table, so let's go ahead and just practice scaling up or scaling down one more time. Let's go ahead and scale down because this is a pretty big number. Let's go ahead and scale down by a factor of 2. So just like how we did in this first one, we scaled down by a factor of 2, but now we're going to be scaling down by a factor of 2 on this number right here, so 8 and 48. Remember, we have to divide by the same number if we are going to be scaling down. So we're going to divide 8 by 2, and we're going to divide 48 by 2. And when we do that, we are going to find out that if there were 8 divided by 2 is 4. If there were 4 dinosaurs, 48 divided by 2 is 24. So if there were 4 dinosaurs, there would be 24 pencils. And that is an example of a ratio table and how you can use it to solve a word problem.